ready to tape. This is Wednesday, May the 12th. Yeah, May the 12th. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're here at 352 Raymond Street, and we're going to talk to Angie Cerra-Radakovic. Okay, well, we used to live in Sheridan on the farm.
Yeah.
What was the name of the farm?
Douglas Farm. People took his name, Douglas. They owned the place. Oh, we lived there a long time. Heck, when we were little kids, we were about 12 years old.
Yeah?
Yeah. My aunt lived there too with us, Rosie and her brother. And they had one twin sister who died while we were there too. She was buried right in the house.
Yeah. Did she die before your mother?
No,
After.
No, maybe she died after, I think.
Yeah.
She was a twin to Rosie.
Yeah, what was her name?
Angie.
Oh.
She was about 6 years old or something when she died.
What did she die of?
I don't know. I don't remember. All I remember seeing her laying in a coffin downstairs in one of the rooms. See, in the olden days, people used to lay their bodies out in the houses. They didn't go have the mortuaries and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my aunt, my uncle, and Big Tony. My brother was small. We called him Little Tony. And then we called our brother Big Tony. And it turned out that my brother got big and he got little. He was bigger.
So they just had Rosie and Big Tony, and they would have had the twin Angie when she died.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And their mother and father was named what?
Her mother was named Catherine, and my uncle was named Joe.
Guzzy, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. And Reggie's father and my Uncle Joe were brothers.
And they were...
Then I had that Uncle John. He used to come all the time from Europe. There were a couple of years he'd come over here and stay for 2-3 months. And then he'd go back.
Uh-huh.
He was my godfather.
Yeah.
He baptized me.
Who was your godmother?
I don't know. Oh, this is my aunt. I don't remember having a godmother. I remember the godfather is all I know.
Yeah. So they were brothers to your mother?
Yeah, they were both my mother's brothers.
Uh-huh.
Uncle John, Uncle Patsy, and Uncle Joe. And then he had other uncles that were still living, never came here.
Uh-huh.
Or her brother. She was the only girl in her family, I think. Well, I don't know whether she had a sister-in-law. She had mostly all brothers. Must have been about 5 or 6 brothers altogether.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Used to,
We lived out on the 2nd floor, and my aunt lived on the basement like that. They had the bedrooms up on the 2nd floor, but their kitchen and the dining room, whatever they had, was in the basement. Like, and we were on the 2nd floor, upstairs.
we had animals?
We had an attic up there too. The only thing I remember about my mother is that they made her stay up in the attic so she could get fresh air or something. I don't know. I think she must have had TB. And she wasn't in this country long at all. Just long enough to have me and my brother and there, that's all. And then she died. That's it. And I remember them buying steak. I don't know how I could remember that. But they got this steak and they put it in a jar, and then they heated the jar to get the juice from it for her to drink. Yeah. I have no idea. My mother, what she looked like. What is that?
Nothing. I just put your hands down so they don't cover your face.
I don't remember much about her. All I remember is that she was sick and she stayed up in the attic because she had to get fresh air. And I don't know. I remember her making dresses out of flour sacks.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. In the old days, we used to have these great big sacks, but they were cloth. And after you used it, you could wash it and you could make aprons out of it or whatever they wanted to. That's what they did. It was a heavy material, too. Patsy they used to come out to the farm every summer. We used to have a big table outside. They'd bring watermelons and we'd all eat outside. Oh my. In the good old days.
Yeah. What happened to Uncle Patsy? One time he had to stay on the farm.
Yeah. You know how they have those little wild cherries. Not wild, but they're sour cherries. They weren't ripe ones.
Uh-huh.
Well, he climbed up on a cherry tree. You know, them little trees are small.
Yeah.
So he got on a limb. The limb broke and he fell down. I don't know if he broke his arm or what. He had to stay on a farm for about a week or so before he could go home.
Oh, my.
Pick those cherries. Instead of getting a ladder or something to use it, they tried to climb it. And the limbs are small because the trees are small.
Is he a big man?
No, he wasn't there.
He had a mustache, didn't
he? Yeah. Mm-hmm. He had red hair, like his daughter.
Yeah, red hair and a red mustache.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. My aunt, she used to, I don't know why she wore, but she wore this little velvet, like thing over here. Yeah. It was like a velvet, like, and she used to wear that on her neck. I don't know what it was for. I don't know.
Necklace.
I don't know.
Did she have a cameo on it or just plain?
No, just this her piece of velvet.
What color was it?
I think it was black.
Uh-huh. And that was Lisa, her name, right? Patsy's wife.
That's Lisa, yeah. That's what her name was, Lisa.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that's, her daughter is Luigi, right?
Luigi and Angie, Mary, and up there Sarah. Well, the first Sarah died. She got hit by a truck downtown. And then she had the other Sarah, she's living. And Yolanda. Yeah. And she had two boys, Tony. One was named Tony and the other, I forgot what his name was.
Was he the baby, that one boy?
Mm-hmm.
Was he the one that was the lifeguard at South Park?
Might have been, yeah.
I can't think of his name either.
Now, Luigi has two boys. One boy is a twin to one of the girls.
Yeah. She had the two girls twins, right?
Yeah. And she had a single girl.
Uh-huh.
Then she had a twin girl and boy.
Uh-huh.
And then she had another son, I think, later.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think she had another son. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure now. I know she had two boys. Because she had mostly the girls first. Then she had the one boy.
What was the twins girl's name? The first one that died, what was her name?
One was 10, so that's the one that died.
Yeah,
I don't know. The other might have been maybe named after her mother or her grandmother.
Lisa?
Could be. Because my aunt's name was Lisa.
Uh-huh.
So she might have been Lisa. Because I don't think she had any daughters named Lisa. Except the oldest one, probably.
Yeah.
Dress, and then,
Wait a minute. Okay, tell her she made a dress.
she made me a real pretty little dress. And we had a little gas stove, you know, it had the little flames used to come out. So here I'm standing in front of that little stove, and I'm like,
Yeah, go ahead.
swinging myself around like this here, and here the flame came out and caught my dress. And I got it all burned up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I one of my arms. I have one place where it left a little scar. That's the only place. And I think my eyes went crooked somehow too, because I had to wear glasses after to get them straightened out. But it's all I remember in that when I started going to school.
How did you put the fire out?
She did. She grabbed my dress with her hands and, you know, took it away right away. See, they had them little gas stoves, with the little flames used to fly out. And I guess when I was swinging around showing off my dress, some of it must have come out and caught my dress and just burned up here. I think it's this arm or this arm. I have one little place where there's a scar like it's all. It's the only badness I got, but I don't know if she had burned her hands at the time.
And she made that dress on that sewing machine, that Singer sewing machine we still have.
Yeah. I couldn't have been more than 4 or 5 years old.
No, because you were 5 when she died, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you...
She only lived long enough to have Mr. Mary and my brother. She had them one right after the other. She had me, my brother, and her. We were maybe 18 months apart. And
where did you live when your dress caught on fire?
there on a farm. I think it was on a farm, unless it was. I can't think now where it was. Oh, it had to be on the farm. Yeah. See, they lived downtown there for a while. My brother Tony was born down there. And I guess I was born there too before we moved to the farm. And Mayor was just a little baby when she moved to the farm. I can't believe how time went by.
You said Uncle Patsy was a jokester. What would he do?
Well, I'd tell jokes to the kids to make them laugh. He was a jolly guy. Well, they were all good, our uncles all the time. My Uncle John, when he'd come to the farm, he'd go into the chicken coop and get a fresh egg and break it and eat it, drink it, eat it.
Right out of the shell.
Yeah.
He used to come and stay for a couple months and...
Yeah, about 3 months or so.
And he would work someplace?
Well, yeah. What's it called? Betty's father. He used to get him a job over in Homestead across the river while he was here. Because he used to be, I don't know what he was, but he was able to get him a job for the summer, like, over at Homestead Mill.
And he would buy things to bring home to Italy.
Mm-hmm. And money, too, I guess.
What did you say he would take back with him for the...
You know, the tablecloths that were shiny and had blocks on. He used to like to buy those because I guess they have wooden tables there, so they used to put that tablecloth on and make it look nice.
Oilcloth.
Yeah, it was like an oilcloth, yeah. I remember him buying some of those. I don't know what else he bought. He bought a lot of stuff to take back with him. He had a lot of kids and twins, a lot of twins on our side.
Did he ever show you pictures of them?
No, he never brought no pictures. I don't know if they ever took pictures over in Italy. No. He never saw any of his kids because he always came by himself. His family always stayed there. I don't know how many kids he had either. He was the youngest one of the 3 boys. I think Uncle Joe was the older And then Patsy, either one of them two, I don't know which was which.
And they used to live downtown, Uncle Patsy.
Yeah, they lived right on Fernando Street, right across from the church. As a matter of fact, he put up he was a pipe fitter in Homestead, Uncle Patsy. And he used to, when they built that church, they had all the stations of the cross outside and the back. He made all the things with the pipe, metal pipe, and made all the whatever, how many thickies are for the stations, yeah. He made them all there behind the church outside. And even Father DeTillo, he was here not DeTillo, the last one we had. Yeah, when he came to give the Holy Communion. That was the last priest we had at our church. Well, anyway, his father told him, he says, you better go and see that church. It's so beautiful before they tear it down. So then he went to see it, and we got to talk and hear. And I was telling him, I said, yeah, I said, my uncle put all the stations of the cross all in the back of the church. And they had the whole thing in the back. And they were big, as big as this, whatever. They were all made out of metal.
Yeah.
Pipes. He used to use pipes all the time. Well, Luigi told me that the first church, St. Peter's Church, it was on Forbes Street first when they started it there. Then they built a new church, and that was on their street where they lived. Mm-hmm. On that street, the houses were, they weren't like single houses. All the houses were attached together, all along there, and everybody had their own, because you had your own entrance. I don't even know if they had an upstairs or downstairs now. Yeah, we used to go there and stay on weekends. I know my mother and father lived down in Concrete Street, I think it was. I must have been born, and Sal was a baby.
Tony
was a baby. And all I remember is that there was rats in the house, and one of the rats got in the crib and bit him on the cheek.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's the only thing I remember. I don't think Mayor was born yet. He was just a baby in a crib. Yeah. I was little then, too, so I don't remember too much of it.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, I must have been a year and a half old, or maybe not even that.
Yeah. Well, so did you lived down there, too, where they lived?
Yeah.
In the same building, or what?
Yeah, we lived all in one building there. Not where Luigi and them lived. We lived on a different street, a block or so away. Yeah. That's where they took the whole street where they lived. Now the Civic Arena is all there. They tore all the houses down, all the church down. What a beautiful church.
Yeah.
A lot of people were disappointed when they did that. But what are you going to do? They needed space for their arenas.
Yeah. So then from there, where did you move to?
From there, then we moved out to the farm. Yeah.
Then after you lived on the farm for a while.
Yeah.
And then from there, where did you move?
I think, we moved to Verona. My father bought a house there. It was like a duplex. People lived on one side, we lived there. But he never got to finish paying for it, so it went away. He didn't have it anymore. Then from there, I think it's when we moved to the farm after that. I don't know. I can't remember everything.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah. We had the school right in front of us where we lived in Verona.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Did you remember going to school in Verona?
Yeah. I was in about the 3rd grade, I think.
Oh.
And then from there, we moved here to Swissville.
Swissville.
Yeah. Yeah. There was Logan Street at the bottom of the street where we lived on downtown. It was all a big road of Jewish people. They all had these big stores and chicken. They had clothes hanging outside and everything on the bottom of the street. Franklin Avenue, I think it was. And there was the school. We were going to school there right at the bottom of our street, too, there for a while. Yeah. I think that's when we moved to the farm. I don't know I don't know where we moved to the farm first and moved to Roanoke. No, we lived in a farm the first, right from downtown. We moved to the farm because Uncle Joe, I think, must have knew about it too, because they moved there too.
Yeah, how come you had to leave the farm?
Well, we didn't own it, we just rented it. And Douglas, the people that owned it was Douglas Farm, they called it. Well, then they built the Langley High School in Sheridan. So there was nowhere where they could have a field. So they took over the farm and they made the field for the school, Langley High School. Aunt Jenny went to that Langley High School.
Yeah.
I think she was like, well, I guess it was first year high school or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a nice house on the farm? What was it made out of?
Great big stone house. Beautiful. We had a nice big porch on the 2nd floor. And it was so big in the summertime we used to lay out on the porch and sleep. Very big porch.
It had a barn?
Oh yeah, we had a barn, we had a spring house, spring water coming in all the time. That's where we kept our milk to keep it cold. And we, they put the milk. We used to keep the milk cold and we used to deliver it to, there was a little place away, there was some people lived there, we used to sell milk to them. Yeah.
Who used to take the milk over there?
I don't know, just my brother we used to take it because they were older. Maybe that or my father, I don't know, my uncle. Maybe.
Where was the barn separate from the house?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had a big farm, we had a big spring. And that spring house, it was spring water. You ran in the house all the time. There was like a little trough, like, made us either cement or stones. So we'd put the milk right along in there, and that was cold water, and it kept the milk from getting sour.
Did you have running water in the house, too?
Yeah, later on, I think they must have had. Yeah, we had water in the house. Yeah, I remember now. I think we had gas mantle lights first when we first moved there.
Yeah.
Then they got electricity, I think.
Did you have indoor plumbing, toilet?
No, we had an outhouse. That's when I fell with the pot to the...
What happened?
Well, so we had, how you had them toilets with a lid on, pot. Well, at night, it was late at night, we used to keep it in the house at night, so if anybody had to get up to go to the bathroom, they had to use that.
Yeah.
Then in the morning, I used to have to go empty it because the outhouse was outside a little bit. So I was going over to empty it, and somehow I tripped on something, and it fell, and it all splashed all over me. The kids said, when they said me, they said, "How did it taste?" Most of the times only pee, I think, because of it. Oh, they laughed like heck. The outhouse was like maybe from here to his garage over there. I had to walk out there. Yeah. That was something.
Grandpa got into trouble when you lived on the farm, huh? What happened?
You mean when he went to... Oh, we were bootleggers. Every time they'd make the mash to make the whiskey. So we'd get raided. I don't know who. I wonder who the heck. Somebody must have sent them there. some other people or something. Because they didn't care what we were doing there. The houses were all so far away from us. We had a lot of ground all around. Nobody knew what the heck we were doing there. Somebody must have turned us in. So, we used to make it in the house, down in the basement. And,
wasn't it in, I thought you said it was in the basement of the barn.
yeah, well, that's where they put it after the second time around, where they never found it.
Oh, they never found
When
that
they
one.
came, no, 2 times they came, they didn't find where we had it.
Oh.
Because once we had it over the hill, behind a hill, my dad built a space where they could put the mash, and then they had something covering it, and that was over the hill. They never saw that. And the one where we had the cows were on top of it. They had put the metal sheets of metal on top, and we had the steel was down in the ground. They had a door they'd open up and go down and take care of what they had to do. But they never found that. They never found that. Only one I think they found was whenever they came into the house the first couple times. Yeah.
He lost the car, huh?
Yeah, that was his own car. See, he had each one, like they had one company car that they used to deliver the whiskey. Well, that didn't have nothing to do with my father's. My father had his own. It was a Willie's Night. I remember it a long time. He used to take us to school sometime, in the mornings when it was cold. And here they came and they confiscated his car. It had a little dent in the box in the back. And you know how they have them cans that make marks? These 5-gallon cans, like they're silver, metal. Well, just because that can made a dent in the box he had in the back of his car, they said he was delivering whiskey when they found that thing. And he never did that because that was his own car. They had a different car for delivering the whiskey. So that's why they confiscated his car, and he had just bought it on his own. Somebody probably turned us in, that's all I can think. Might have been somebody from across the railroad, way across the hill there. Probably watching what we were doing on our side of the house, on our side of the ground. Oh, well.
And his picture was in the paper that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they took pictures of him. He had one of those overhauls, bib, was a bib like. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they confiscated him. Heck, my uncle was in it too. But they didn't do nothing to him. No. Mm-mm.
That was your Uncle Joe.
Yeah.
You had a cow on the farm named Bossy, right?
Bessie. Oh, we had a lot of cows. We had about 3 cows.
Yeah.
We had a bull, one bucked my uncle. And that was a baby bull we raised. My uncle used to go pet it and take care of him and feed him and everything. I don't know, one day he went in there to pet him, and he had gotten bigger by that time, and he just turned on him like a wild man, that wild animal. He picked my uncle up with his horns and stuck the horn about that big in his thigh of his leg. He never did that. My uncle used to pet him and talk to him, raised him from a baby. I don't know what made, he just must have been in a bad mood that time or something. They had to get 2 pitchforks to get him out of there. To get my uncle who was on the ground. That was his baby. He used to pet it all the time and everything.
Who got him out with the pitchforks?
Well, my brother Tony, my brother, he went over and he heard the dogs barking over in the barn. And he went over to see, and he saw them, so he called my uncle and my dad to go over, and that's how they got him. They had to go around the other side, like, and get 2 pitchforks and jag it into him to push him out of there, get him out of there. They had him butchered then after that. because there was no use of keeping them.
And that was your Uncle John that got stuck with them.
No, Patsy.
Patsy.
No. No, not Uncle. Uncle John's the one from Italy. Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe. I think he's the oldest of the brothers. Uncle Joe's the oldest. Because when my father came from Italy, he went and lived with them for a while. Yeah. I don't know, my father said something about that my Uncle Joe used to have a little farm somewhere else, and that's where he stayed with them for a long time. I think until maybe my mother came over. Then they got a house or something downtown. I don't know all the details. Yeah. Yeah. He must have came, Uncle John must have came here when I was a baby, because he was my godfather. So he made a lot of trips over here from Italy. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess in them days it wasn't that expensive. And Jenny told me when she came over on a boat, she was so scared. See, they didn't have they'd bring them so far in New York. And then in New York, they used to put them on these little boats or something and take them to the shore. And she was scared as ever. She was only 4 years old. Hmm. Yeah.
When you used to go to school in Sheridan, did you come home for lunch?
No, we had to bring our own lunch. We used to bring our lunch because, we had pretty far to walk. Yeah, we had to go all the way up DuBois Street, and then we had to go up another hill to the school. I forgot what the name of it was. Harvard or Harvard, something like that was the name of the school. There was a little butcher shop right across from the school. So for lunch, I used to go over there and buy a half pound of bologna and buy buns and maybe a roll or something. Then we'd go over to school and eat it for lunch and make sandwiches out of them. That was when this Mayor and Toe was with me, because Jenny was at the other school. And my dad used to take us a lot of time. He used to take us with the car to school in the winter when it was real cold, because that was pretty far. We had a railroad station there, too. It was a small town, you know. I remember once going to the store carrying a 25-pound sack of flour all the way from the railroad station to the store where we went, all the way home up to the farm. I don't know how I did it. I must have been 6 or 7 or 8 years old only. Maybe that's why I didn't grow. Oh, God. And when sometime I'd walk home from school, and there were these little colored kids. They lived down the way where we lived. They'd come over and get next to me and try to push me and everything. So there used to be a lady who used to walk there. So I used to stand beside her and walk with her so that they didn't come to bother me. Oh, God. Yeah, it was something, I'm telling you. We should have wrote a book about all that stuff, huh? Years ago. Whoever thought about doing that? Yeah.
Did you have a little creek on the farm?
Yeah, we had it way down the hill. That's where our Bessie got killed. Our cow.
Yeah.
She went down to get a drink of water in the creek, and she had a rope. I don't know how she had that rope around her neck, but anyway, it got hung down. And when she went to get in there, her front paw caught in it and it choked her, and she just fell in the water and died. Right in the creek. We went all around looking for her, and then we found her down there dead. Yeah. My Uncle Joe, he used to do all the milking the cows in the mornings. We used to deliver milk, too. There was a row of houses that weren't too far away from us. We used to go sell milk to them. We didn't have that much, like maybe not even a dozen bottles of milk. We had chickens too, and had eggs. I don't know if we didn't, I don't remember whether we sold eggs or not. I don't remember at all. I don't think we did. I think we used them more for the family use. I couldn't get over my Uncle John, how he used to, every time he'd come over, go in the chicken coop and he'd put an egg and he'd break it and just swallow it. Oh, they're fresh eggs. Yeah. My father had bought a lot way up on top of the hill from our back of our farm. It was a big street up there. People lived there. So he bought a piece of land there, but I don't know. He never took care of it, or it went. I don't know who got it. There used to be a white guy who lived with a colored lady. He lived in one of the houses up there. Yeah, he was Italian too. He was married to a colored lady. That's right. We didn't have. I don't know whether we had running water at the time. Because I remember we used to get in a tub of water to get a bath. You know, them wash tubs, big ones. That's what we used. And my father used to send our clothes to the laundry, out to the place to wash them. But then he'd bring them back in a bag, wet, and we used to have to hang them up ourselves. Yeah.
Was that after your mother died?
Yeah. Let's see, how old was I? Mary was just a baby. Matter of fact, she almost died when she was born. They called her Amorta Viva. She barely made it to live. Well, the doctor told my mother not to have no more kids after she had me. But she had them anyway. Mary almost died when she was born. We took her to church and got her baptized, and then she sort of came out of it.
Was she born at home?
I guess. In them days, everybody was born at home. I don't even remember the house downtown, because my brother Tony was born there. I know it was on a corner of Concrete Street and something. But I must have been about a year and a half, that's all, maybe a year old when he was born. Because she had us right one after another. Yeah. Heck, she was young, really. She was a year older than my father. She was 19 and my father was 18. And it was wartime. And he didn't want to go to war. So he got a boat and came here and lived with my uncle and left my mother there. And she had my sister, Jenny, and she was 4 years old when she came here to America. Well, somebody had, I think they had to go to New York to get them, because that's where the boat would come. New York, and they had to go to New York and get them there to take them home here.
Where did you live when you got bit by the dog?
On a farm. Because my Uncle Joe and them, they had moved out. We still lived there. So some Polish lady came and lived there downstairs for a while. And she had this dog. And he was tied up, but I didn't know who he was. So I went to walk by this way, and he just reached and put my hip over here on my side. Just took a little chunk of meat out of me. That was the lady from downstairs. That was her dog. They had just moved a short time, and I guess they had to move too when we moved, because they tore the whole house down. That house was so, it was such a beautiful thing. They should have never tore it down. But they had to make the field for the high school. That high school was a new high school too. It was just built not too long before that. It was really nice. Jenny went there. None of us ever went there, but she went there first year of high school. But she didn't go too much. I think she quit. I think she maybe went 1 year or two. I don't know. Yeah. Langley High is the name of it. But there was a residential section, and they had a place to build the school, but they didn't have a place to build the field. So then that's when they took over the farm to make a big field for it. I took Daddy over once, but we couldn't get in the fence. We had to go up there. We had our street, ours was over here, and there was a street over here. There was a row of flats that people lived in. So they had that all blocked all the way over to where these houses were. So we had to go up to them houses and just look through the fence. Heck, we had ground, so much ground. I bet we had 1,000 acres of ground. Because we had a big field in the back of the house. It went way up the hill. We had a big field in the front of the house, real big. And then we had another big place way down where the creek was, almost way down, almost a whole couple blocks down. We had a lot of ground all over the place. Yeah. Well, they used to make gardens. My uncle, too, they used to all make it. My father was pretty smart, though. He used to get these here, well, not 2x4s, but wood, like, you get it like this, and like this, and like this, and then he had some going this way. So what he did, he put these big spiked nails in, and then he'd put a fire, or not a fence, a chain on, and then he'd guide the horse, and the horse would pull that and dig the ground with the nails. You know, the nails used to make the
plow.
Yeah.
And you had a horse to do that?
Yeah, my father used to stand behind a horse and tell him to go, and he used to go. And he'd go all the way over there, and then he'd come all the way back and dig the ground to plant, so they could plant. Heck, they didn't have no regular tools like everybody else. They had to, do everything for themselves, make their own way. And then we had another thing that had a sharp point on it, and then my dad would hold on to that and to make a groove, put the seeds and stuff in. Mm-hmm. He did that himself. But the other with the horse, that used to be to loosen the ground up. Oh, we had a lot. We had great big fields of corn. And apple trees, pear trees, peach trees, yellow apples, red apples, green apples, pears. One time I climbed up one of the high pear trees, and I didn't know how they could get down. I was up on the back of the house. Well, that was nice. We really enjoyed living there. You could do whatever you wanted. My sister Jenny used to have a friend that lived across the railroad. See, at the bottom of our hill there was a street, then there was a railroad, and there was a railroad station there too. And then across the hillside, we could see all houses on that side. And one of the girls, I think her name was Mary Chinchula. We went to school with her at the Langley High School. That's the only girl she knew at the time. She was a nice girl, Italian. Yeah. Once in a while, we used to see Ku Klux Klan making fire, like on that side of the hillside. A lot of people lived over there. Yeah. My uncle, they moved out of the farm when this other lady came to live, and he lived up in Sheridan. They bought a house, and And they lived there for a while. And, well, they lived there all the time till the mother and the father died. And then they got married. They went on their own. But Rosie stayed with the mother until the end, and the father.
Was that Sheridan or Castle Shannon?
Castle Shannon's where they lived afterwards. Yeah. A little lunch, like we'd make a little lunch at home, take it with us. So we got hungry at the park, and I don't know how we used to go home. Whether they came pick us up. We used to stay mostly in a part where there was a swings and things and play there.
And they gave you the tickets for free at school.
Yeah, we didn't have to pay for them. They gave them to us at the school at that time.
And then how did you get to the park?
We went down at the bottom of the street and got to the streetcar and went straight to Kennywood. Because that's on the south side, and that's where Kennywood is. Me and Mayor and Toad, we used to go. I don't know about Aunt Jenny, if she ever went with us. Maybe she did, I don't know now. We used to stay mostly in the playground where the swings were and stuff like that. And we run out of tickets to get a ride. You could get a ride with one little ticket.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the first school was what?
Harvard. That was in Sheridan. And that's when I started kindergarten. I think it's only a class. The Verona, and the school was right up just across the street from us. And I don't think we lived there too long. I don't know if I was around maybe 12 years old at that time. By the time we got there. And I think we only lived there maybe a year or so. And then we moved to Swissville.
What school did you go to here?
This school wasn't built yet. So I think we were upstairs in the high school. Remember the high school was near the other school? Well, we used to go up some steps. We had rooms upstairs, so we used to go there. For a while we went there. And then from there, we went to that one in Wilkinsburg there.
In Regent Square.
Regent Square. We went there for a while until this school got built here. Then I was in 8th grade when we went here to Dixon School. Yeah. By that time I was old. That's the last school I went to because I quit after. When 8th grade was over, I quit school.
I see.
And I stayed home. I used to work. I used to go with Susie. Who lived behind us. And I used to clean her house for her, like on a sweeper and dust. And then there was another lady in Regent Square there. I used to go there, clean her house. And that's all. I don't think I worked anywhere else. Well, I worked for that Mr. Jim. I remember he used to deliver fruits. Out in Frankstown Road, I used to have to get the streetcar and then walk from the junction there all the way past Mine Safety and up on Frankstown Road there. That's where he had a fruit store. And I worked for him for a while.
What would that be, Homewood or Brushton or something?
I think it was Brushton, I think it was.
It's a long walk.
Yeah.
What did you do in this store?
Well, people come and buy fruits and vegetables and stuff.
He was out with the truck?
Yeah, he used to go with the truck delivering fruit. I didn't work there too long. And Yeah, they'd come by. There was a little Jewish lady. She used to come, and she'd always pick a couple of onions, and she'd want me to give it to her real cheap. I wasn't there too long, because then I got married. Yeah, I think about a couple of months I worked there, that's all. Yeah. That's the last time I worked. I worked for one lady who lived across the alley from us. We lived on Burton Street. She used to have these fancy curtains. Well, they were like curtains, but they were like embroidered. And I used to iron those clothes, iron them for her. And I used to dust and clean her upstairs, that's all, sweep up. I never had a scrub floor or nothing like that. That's the only two places I ever worked.
What was her name? That wasn't the one you mentioned earlier, Susie, was it?
No, her name wasn't Susie. I forgot what her name was. I know I went to school with the girl, her daughter. She had a son, too. Her son was married to Pauline, to Linda.
Oh.
But he died. And years later, she remarried. She married a baker, Rocco. Just to deliver bread, they had a bakery. He died, too. So she was a widow. That's about all the place I worked. I didn't work anywhere else. Okay. And that's where you were born.
That was DeMarzo's.
Yeah. Adeline. Her daughter was named Adeline.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we lived there.
That was on Burton Street?
Yeah. Because we lived in 2 rooms we had, me and Daddy. We just had 2-room bedroom and a kitchen, that's all we had. We lived like in the back of the house, about on the 2nd floor.
That's where the fire was.
Yeah, the fire was down. I think the fire was downstairs on the 1st floor. You were just a baby, and I woke up and the smoke was coming out of our register in our room. So everybody got up, and I put a blanket over your head, and we went down the steps and went outside. And I don't know, they took all. Our room didn't get burnt or nothing. It was the 1st floor. The floor got all burnt downstairs where the mother and father was sleeping. And you could see the smoke coming upstairs through the register. Then I put a blanket over you and I went down to my mother's house and we stayed there for a while.
Did they ever figure out what caused the fire?
Must have been wiring or something, because it was an old house. Well, the 1st floor is the only one that got, the floor got burned, because it was a fire. All we got was the smoke through the registers came in our room while we were sleeping. That was something. Well, the downstairs floor was all full of smoke downstairs. So we had to go down real easy on the steps and go out the front door. I think it was in February. It was cold, I think, when we did that. So I bundled you up and we went down to my mother's house and we stayed there. I don't know, we stayed there for maybe a month or so.
What time of the day was it? You said you woke up, so it was...
It was early in the morning, real early in the morning. Yeah.
Did anybody get hurt in that fire?
No. There was a couple on the 3rd floor. They had to jump out their window on the porch roof. I don't know. Well, they could have came down. They had the steps to go up there, but they jumped out the window onto the porch roof because they were up on the 3rd floor.
And the fireman had to rescue them from the roof, I guess.
Yeah.
What did the fireman do? You were telling me something about the fireman getting into something.
Oh, I think they were whiskey bottles or something that we had. Something they took that. That's all. We didn't have that much stuff. We didn't have that many clothes and stuff.
And after you left your mother's, you had a place up on the hill for a little short time.
About 2 months or so, a month or two.
That was what street?
On University Street. Angie lived on the same street, and she was down further.
Which Angie?
The one who lives up on the hill now.
Italia?
Yeah. That's when she was first married, too.
Oh.
I don't think she had her kids then.
Mm-hmm.
She must have got married around the same time I did.
And from there, you moved to?
Don D. Ruby's house.
On Monongahela.
Yeah, we lived there. And Rachel was born there. And from there we moved on up on Dixon Street. We lived there 10 years.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Because these were all grown and these were going to school. Even Linda was going up to Newmar. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then?
Bobby, he went to Newmar too. I don't think Linda went to kindergarten, I think, and Bobby went to Newmar. But he didn't finish it because that was the year we had 48 inches of snow, as high as this table, up on Numble Street. So he hadn't started kindergarten, but then when we got that bad weather and stuff, he didn't go back to school, to kindergarten. And he went to school. Did he go to Dixon? Dixon, I guess, when we moved down the other way.
Yeah. Because I was in 8th grade when we moved to the next place on Monongahela, the other, Grandma's old house.
Yeah.
So I think I was about, maybe I was older. Maybe I was about a sophomore. I don't remember.
I had Bobby down in Grandma's old house. I mean, Sal.
Sal.
Yeah. I had Bobby up on Dixon because he was next in line, and then Linda, she was a baby. She was born there. So was he. They were both born there.
Mm-hmm. And then you came here. Your next address was Raymond Street.
Yeah. Yeah, Monongahela, we lived there the longest in that house. And the one on Dixon Street, we lived about 10 years, I guess. Because you and Rachel were the only ones I had when we moved up there. And I had Bobby after that. I remember him running outside naked, trying to go off the street. Oh, dear.
We had some good times at that place. Remember the birthday parties every time
Yeah, the kids had outside in the backyard.
Between
Mrs.
the alleyway.
What the heck was her name? Lived upstairs.
Goodall.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to put up a table in the alleyway between the two apartments.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, we lived there long. We lived there, Bobby was born there, and Linda was born there. And that when they were old enough, I worked at Murphy's 5 and 10.
Yeah, that's right.
I worked there when I was pregnant with Sal.
Sal.
I was pregnant with Sal, then we moved to Grandma's house. That's where he was born.
Yeah. And you were working at Murphy's at that time?
Mm-hmm. That's when I quit working.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pregnant when I was working, and then we moved down to Grandma's house, and I quit work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm telling you. Well, sometimes I just think you should write everything down.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you forget, but with this it's better because
Yeah.
it takes everything up.
Yes.